Hey guys, what is up and welcome back, or welcome if you're new to my channel. My name is Haley. I am sharing with you a Disney video today. I have my Minnie Mouse ears on and I am ready to go. It just brings instant joy to my life to pop these on. We are going on a Disney vacation in April, so we're about a month out, and so I thought I would start sharing little bits and pieces of Disney content. I do have an entire Disney playlist here on my channel if you want to see our previous Disney vlogs, packing, outfits, and like budget and all of that stuff. I have an entire Disney playlist, so definitely go ahead and check those out. They bring me so much joy. I wanted to share some Disney videos now and sprinkle them throughout versus bombarding you with only Disney videos for the next month after our trip. And so that's why I am bringing that to you today. So I asked you guys on Instagram, what do you want to see this time for content for Disney? I've done the vlogs, I've done the packing and all of that stuff. I did get asked many times if I would share like a Disney planning, Disney budget, what goes into you planning your Disney vacation video. I feel like I did one last time, but I'm so unorganized with my thoughts. So I really took my time. I wrote down everything I could think of, from flights to packages to dining and all of that, now that dining's back. So if you're new to the channel, it's just my daughter and I. I've taken trips solo. Our last trip was solo, just my daughter and I to Disney. And I've also taken trips with family members and friends. The very first thing that I try to figure out is obviously time of year. When are we gonna go? Are we gonna go during school vacations? Are we gonna go during the summer when Sydney, my daughter, is off from school? And so I kind of try to figure out what my priorities are for vacationing. For me personally, I really, when I go on vacation, I want it to be warm. I want to be able to swim, because we don't have that here in Maine most of the year. Just 2 months out of the year we have warmth. And so for me, I really wanted to make sure that I was able to swim and utilize the pools. If I'm going to be spending money on the resort, I really wanted to be able to use all of it. All right, so let's talk about flights. The very first thing that I do is I Google the flights, the dates. I kind of play around with dates too. If you're a little bit more flexible, could you go a day, sooner? Could you go a day later? Depending on what day of the week you want to travel, it might be a little cheaper if you move it to like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday situation versus a Friday, Saturday, when a lot of people are flying on business and taking trips. So the first thing that I do is I Google the flights that I'm interested in. They have a little price graph, and it typically, is it reliable? Somewhat. It tells you what the trends are for flights that time of year, that day, so you can kind of like get an idea of pricing on flights. And then I go ahead and I click track flights, or whatever it's called. I track that flight, I track that trip in Google, and I will go ahead and get emails when there are price changes from that particular trip. So that's what I do several months in advance of my trip. And then I go ahead and look at my non-negotiables. So for me, when I am flying solo with just myself and my daughter, as long as it's not like $1,000 more, one of my non-negotiables is nonstop flights. I don't want to deal with layovers with my daughter, going through airports that I'm not familiar with, that I have to take a tram to another terminal to. I've done that with a friend, and it was a breeze because my friend, like, been there, done that, had kind of known her way around. But if I was alone with my small child, I probably would have panicked, and we only had a really short layover. So anyway, I don't want to deal with that. And not only that, TMI, but I get super travel sick, motion sickness. And so the more times we land and take off, the more risky it is for my health. And so one of my non-negotiables is a nonstop flight. So I start tracking all of the nonstop flights. Google has this thing where it tells you when typically the prices for that particular trip is the lowest to book. And for me, it was like 2-3 months out was the lowest the prices go, and then they start to go back up a little bit. And I noticed on Thursdays in particular, for some reason for this trip, on Thursdays was when the prices went the lowest. So I ended up saying, okay, I think I'm gonna book it tomorrow. I'm noticing the prices are pretty low and I don't wanna wait too long because I need 2 seats together for my daughter and I, obviously, so we can sit together. And so I didn't want to wait till things were too full. So I went ahead and booked it, and I was very happy with the price that I got because I was honestly planning on at least $500 more based on what the original prices of that flight itinerary was. And so I was pretty happy with it. Next thing I know, it was like a week or 2 later, and I got an email saying that my flights were changed, and I was super bummed because they changed it to not an ideal arrival time with my child. So I was able to get it changed for free to an even better itinerary than I had booked. I got my ideal flight, and originally I didn't book it because it was $600 more expensive. And so I ended up getting that for no extra charge because they had to change my itinerary, and I thought that was pretty amazing. And so flights are all booked, nonstop flights, don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Then the next thing I like to do is think about, okay, what are my priorities for this trip? Do you want to stay at a specific resort because it's your dream resort, you love it, the dining? Are you on a more tight budget and you're never going to be in your hotel and you want to stay at a value resort? And I'm just speaking on staying on Disney property. I've never stayed outside of Disney property. I'm too scared to worry about getting taxis and renting a car. Unless I had like my whole family, I'm probably gonna stay on property. I this year really wanted to stay at a couple of different resorts, and this trip is going to be one of the longest trips that we have taken, which I am very excited about. I need it. We didn't go on vacation last year, and I'm very excited to just have a vacation. And so I wanted to make it a longer trip, which of course means I'm spending more money. But I decided to do a split stay and stay at a couple of different resorts, which I'm excited about. One I've never experienced and one I have. And so that is super fun. They have many different levels of resorts on Disney property, from value, which is the least expensive, moderate is their middle price ground, and the deluxe is the more expensive. And then you have like the villas and bungalows. We're not going to talk about that. You can go to the Disney World website, go ahead and click on places to stay, and you can scroll down to the offers tab, and it will usually, there will be discounts on there for you to use, whether it be on dining or your resort package or something like that. And usually there's a discount depending on what time of year you go. There's almost always a discount going on. If you book your stay without a discount and then they later come out with a discount, you can apply it to your trip and still save that money, even if you booked before they brought that discount out. So always look at the special offers tab. Always. There's probably a discount at all times, at least at one of the resorts or at something. For me, I look at transportation. So a lot of the value resorts are just bus transportation. Some of them are the Skyliner, and then you have the monorail as well, resorts. And so just kind of play around with what is your priority, what parks are you going to be mostly staying at? Are you going to be at your resort taking lots of leisurely days by the pool and exploring? That brings me to my next point. So when you're booking through Disney, if you're doing it yourself, you just have to make a $200 down payment on if you are booking a package. So that means if you're booking a resort and park tickets package, you just need a $200 down payment that day, and then you can pay it off until 30 days before your trip. And so you can just make payments. That's what I personally do, and that way it doesn't feel as bad and all of a sudden and so much. So I just, every single Friday, I have it on my calendar, every single Friday, make a payment, make a payment, make a payment. Now, since I'm doing a split stay, I decided to do, so the first stay is my resort dining and park tickets, okay? And then my next stay is just resort, because the tickets can be spread over like a long period of time. So if you're booking just a resort package, you do have to buy or pay for immediately just one night's worth of stay, and then the rest you can pay on check-in. So I paid one night's worth of expenses for my resort, and then upon arrival I have to pay the rest. so the remaining balance, if that makes sense. When you're thinking about park tickets, which is going to be a really big part of your budget because they're pretty expensive. It does get a little bit less expensive per day the longer you have your park tickets. I think it's like beyond 4 days, it starts getting slightly less expensive to add more days onto your ticket. You want to go visit all 4 parks, Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot. Do you want to prioritize just one because you have small children and you want them to get the most out of their, you know, Disney trip, and you're just going to go to Magic Kingdom and then you're going to do a lot of down days because they're little? I don't know where I left off because my camera cut off because I've been talking so much. I think I was talking about park days. So yeah, really kind of play around with pricing and what is the priority with that. Now, if your child is under 3 years old, they do not need a park ticket. The sweet spot is like right before they turn 3. They don't have to pay to get into the parks, and they don't have to pay for like buffets. They can still eat off your plate. It is such a magical time because that was our first trip ever. And it was the cheapest it will ever be because I didn't have to pay for Sydney for hardly anything. So also, do you want to do park hopper passes? So basically, park hopper option means that you can go to more than one park in a day. So if I want to start the morning out at Magic Kingdom and then later on we're like, I'd really like to go to Epcot and try some festival foods and snacks or see a certain show, performer or something, I can just jaunt over there for a little extra fee. So I don't remember exactly how much it is per ticket, but say, so I'm doing park hopper this time and it was another $151 for both Sydney and I for the entire week. I decided to do that because we are staying a little bit longer. I thought, you know, maybe I don't want to do an entire day at Hollywood Studios or an entire day at Animal Kingdom. Maybe we're done half the day, but we still want to go check out more parks or go on more rides. I wanted the flexibility. And then depending on weather too, if we decide to go a certain place versus another, I just wanted that flexibility since it was a longer trip. But our last 2 trips, we did not do park hopper option. We just chose which parks we were going to do what day. So that's just another little thing to think about. Now, I know the Disney planning can seem so scary and it's so much. I thrive off of it. I love it. It's just what makes me happy. I'm a control freak, but also like this is fun for me, so fun. But there are free travel agents everywhere and you don't have to pay a fee and they will handle all of the bookings for you. They could be wonderful, especially for your first trip. If you've never done it before and you need help, then they could totally help you. There are many different additions that you can make to your package, one of them being park hopper pass. Another one is the dining plan has returned. I have decided to do. Now, the reason why I decided to do the dining plan is because they actually had a discount on it. Before we jump into the discount and what I did for ourselves, let's talk about dining. So there's 2 options. There's the quick service dining plan and the regular dining plan. The quick service option is 2 quick service meals a day. So in other words, like fast food or restaurants that you can just grab, take your food. You don't have to have a reservation or like a waitress waiting on you or anything like that. So 2 quick service meals a day and then 1 snack a day. And then the regular dining plan is 1 quick service meal, 1 table service meal where they like wait on you and you make reservations, and 1 snack a day. So there's specific pricing on the website. I don't know it off the top of my head at all. There's specific pricing for adults and for children. And so basically how it works is you're prepaying for your food. Think about like all-inclusive resorts. You're prepaying for your food, so when you get there, you kind of don't have to worry a whole lot about it and it's already paid for. So what I will say about this, I would not be buying the dining plan unless I got a discount on it personally. I'm mostly a vegetarian or a chicken finger girl, so I eat kind of inexpensive and I would not be reaching for the alcohol and the dessert at every meal. And so personally, I don't think it would be, I wouldn't be saving any money unless I had a discount. So this time when I am going, gosh, they had it several months ago now. They had a kids dine and play package where kids get 50% off of their park tickets and the dining plan. And so when I crunched the numbers, it made it so that I could upgrade and add dining to our package and not pay any extra. So essentially we were getting free dining. due to Sydney's discount. Now you do have to get everyone who's staying in your resort and in your package, everyone has to have the dining plan. You can't just have 2 adults and then you're like, well, I won't buy the kids the dining plan. Everyone has to have it. So it's like an all or nothing deal. So you really have to crunch the numbers. So at first I put that we were gonna do the quick service dining plan, and I wanted to do specific character dining meals. And I looked into the character dining meals and I crunched some more numbers. One character meal is gonna cost me like $100 with the tip, okay? Because it's expensive to do you're paying for the experience anyway. So I crunched the numbers to see if I could upgrade to the regular dining plan with that discount, and I was gonna pay about $100 for the entire time that our dining plan runs. And so I ended up upgrading to the regular dining plan because it covers the cost of that one character meal that I really wanted to do. And so we're gonna eat for the entire trip for only $100 more. Does that make sense? So it ended up being amazing. It ended up being worth it. I am so excited. I did just want to say that was an extra that you can add to your package. The memory maker I've never done, but that is also because I'm a vlogger and I have a camera on me 24/7 and I like set the timer and take pictures if I want to. But you can add a memory maker, which is spots around the parks and things that there's a cast member with a professional camera who will take photos of your family. You can get the ride photos, you know, the photos that they take when you're on the rides, and have that all there. I've never done it, but it's probably really awesome. And then there are enchanting extras as well, like adding on, this is all on the Disney World website, by the way. Those are all under like more or enchanting extras, I think, where you can do the bippity boppity boutique and your little one can dress up, get all dolled up in like a prince or princess outfit and be all, you know, pampered. But that's pretty expensive. So we are not doing that this year. I thought about it, I really was going to, and then I said, it's not for me and for my child. I don't think it will be worth it because I know my child. She's gonna love it. She's gonna be so excited and love the process. And then 30 minutes after, she's gonna be like, I'm uncomfortable, put me in leggings, fix my hair. Like, I just know. So I'm just like, maybe when she's older, if that's something she really wants to do, maybe we'll do it, but we're not gonna do it this trip personally. Another extra that I forgot about is Genie Plus, and it's basically a fast pass, a way to get in the lightning lane, which is hopefully a shorter wait than the standby wait. And so that is a service that changes price-wise based on how busy it is, what time of year and day it is. It's gonna be more expensive than it was when we used it last, but if you have a small child and your child's not gonna handle waiting in multiple 60-minute long waits a day, I definitely highly recommend it in certain parks like Magic Kingdom. For me, I think it's totally worth it to skip the lines. You can get so much more done and your kid's not bored or, you know, having issues just standing in place and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I feel like I get more out of my trip the more rides that we go on. But I didn't do it at every park last year and I won't do it at every park this year. Or not last year, but you know what I mean, last trip. And so I think I'm gonna designate 2-3 days to do the Genie Plus thing. If you have a huge group, it might not be worth it to you. I don't know. There's only 2 of us in my family, and so it just depends. Do I want to pay $60 today for us to skip some lines? Or, I mean, it could be a little less than that. I think 60 or 70 might be the most expensive that it is for the 2 of us. So I don't know what the max price is, $30, $35 a person, depending on how busy it is. So that's just another thing that you need to either budget for, think about, are we gonna do this? Or are you gonna wait until, you know, you get there to figure out how busy it is and if that's something that you wanna do. There's just also another thing to think about financially, to budget for. Paying for the trip. So I did mention you can make payments, and I like to use Disney gift cards to pay for everything. So Disney gift cards you can use on your resort, your dining, all of your food. You can even use it at Disney Springs, at these stores in Disney Springs. Not all of them, but you'll have to ask or Google if they accept it, like Zara. I can use Disney gift cards and get a little discount there. You can use it on drinks food gratuity, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe. You can also buy your souvenirs with gift cards, so you're saving essentially 5% on your souvenirs as well. Park tickets, all of it. So I like to use Disney gift cards because you can get Disney gift cards at a discount at many different places. Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's, like wholesale places like that, as well as Target if you have a red card. I usually buy all of my gift cards at Target with my red card at a 5% discount rate, and then I go ahead and make my payment. So I usually do like $200 payments at a time. So I will buy a $200 gift card off Target for $190. So I'm saving $10. So every time I make a payment, I'm usually saving 5%. Well, this year I am a Costco member and I was able to get $500 worth of Disney gift cards for $450. So I saved another $50 there. So it's just a little extra savings on top of any of the discounts that have already applied to your trip. And I just love doing that because every penny counts. Every percentage of savings counts. The only thing I will say about doing that is that, so knock on wood, if anything ever happens and you need to cancel your trip, you will get the payment back in the form that you paid for it with. So if you pay for your entire trip using Disney gift cards and then you have to cancel, if you're refunded, it's gonna go back on your Disney gift card. So just think about that. Just wanted to throw that out there. It will be given back to you in the form that you made the payment with. Disney is so incredibly flexible and accommodating and amazing, and I highly recommend being so kind and so patient to these cast members because they are absolutely incredible people who make magic for everyone all the time. I have had to call on numerous occasions because I wasn't able to modify something in the app or online, and so I just called them and they handled it for me. I've never had an issue talking to a cast member. You might have to wait on hold for a little bit, but they're so incredibly kind and get things done. Like they just make magic and it's incredible. As far as spending money goes, what I like to do, I know I've mentioned this in a couple of videos prior, but I love saving in little kind of mindless ways. And so I feel like I have this extra money to go ahead and spend, whether it be on gratuity or a souvenir or another snack or something. And so I love to, in Maine, I know there's only a few states that do this, but in Maine, we pay a fee for our bottles. So when I buy a bottle of water, I have to pay 5 cents in addition to the cost of the water. But when I recycle it, I get that 5 cents back. And so I like to kind of stack and hoard all of my bottle money, and then when our trip comes, I cash out my bottle money and I have a little extra spending money, if that makes sense. So I might have another $20 or whatever, depends on how long you've been saving, and that will take care of something, maybe a quick service meal. So I like to do that. I also like to, I use a few different savings apps like Ibotta. So you can cash out Ibotta when you have $20 there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cash out that $20 and I'll have another $20 spending money. I never usually give a giant budget for souvenirs personally because we're just not the large souvenir family. Sydney, my daughter, usually gets one thing and it's usually a stuffed animal because that's her thing and that's what she wants. And so she got a $25 gift card from Christmas, and that will be her spending budget. So if she wants a souvenir, she has $25 to spend and she will be perfectly happy with whatever she chooses. And I know her, she will just attach to that one thing. She usually never fusses over the light up toys and the bubble wands and all of that. In the past, when she was super little, I bought her a bubble wand and light up toys and all of that before our trip and took them out during our trip, but she's never asked for any. So we're gonna stick with the budget as far as souvenirs goes. I'm not gonna be bringing home a ton of stuff because I'm sure our luggage will be very close to being over and I don't wanna deal with that. So that's just another thing to think about. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I am not a Disney expert. I would like to say that I kind of think that I am, but I am not a Disney expert. I just am in my Disney era and love watching videos like All Ears Net, Disney food blog and all of that. And I like to look ahead to see what do I want to do for snacks, what do I want to do for meals this day, and kind of write down a budget accordingly and say like, oh, this day I might want to go to Epcot and have this snack. I really want to try this snack. And I write down how much it is so I can sort of get a budget about it. All right, you guys, I'm gonna end this video here. Sometimes when I'm talking, it feels like I'm just talking to a wall and I'm making no sense at all, but I hope this little generalized video gave you a little bit of insight on how I personally book my Disney trips and what I'm kind of thinking of when I start to book them. And look forward to, in about a month, our Disney trip. Make sure you're following over on Instagram at Chic Mama over there. I will probably be posting so many stories and reels and pictures because it's just so much fun for myself and my daughter. And I look forward to sharing content with you. If there's something specific you want to see on this trip, do you want to see resort? Do you want to see food reviews? Do you want to see like a what I eat in a day Disney version? I think that's on the docket. I think I'm gonna film one of those. Do you want to see the Epcot festival? Just vlog the whole trip. Like, what do you want to see? I'm excited to share and I cannot wait to start sharing them with you guys.